Hello and welcome to the Winning Agenda YouTube channel. I'm host Brian Holland, here with Jesse Marshall. Jesse Marshall on Jinteki.net. How you doing?
I'm going well. Yeah.
And we're playing PE. Black Tree, as you call it all the time.
Do I?
Yes.
Well, okay. We'll say that I do, and we'll move on. So I think we're going to mulligan this hand.
Even though it's got the Deus Ex in here?
Even though it's got the Deus Ex, because I'd rather have a film critic than a Deus Ex.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah. Don't have either, but we have a professional contacts, which is...
And a technical writer.
Oh, but they have a
the
turtlebacks.
Why would they res it off
straight up res it,
okay,
get another one. Yeah.
Rightio. So what's your strategy generally against PE? I think there's still, even though you don't see PE a lot, every now and then there's some fringe list that just comes out, or you'll be at a big tournament, someone's playing PE, and people don't test much against it, and there's a way to play against it. What's your strategy? I know Wolfie Horrigg, for instance, he says he ignores the remotes and just hits up the centrals, usually.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonably good strategy. Generally, the PE player is going to try and feel you out as well and see what your approach to remotes is. It's about two players, I guess, sparring a little bit and seeing what each other's approach is and trying to bluff the other. I mean, you can bluff as the runner just as much as the corp can bluff you. So if I'm not running remotes for a while, they might try and play out an agenda, and then I can call that, change my strategy suddenly and run the remote.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably run that server 5 this turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to play out the technical rider because it's the card that I probably most want. Do I really draw enough with this deck? Yes.
To make Poco better than Symmetrical Visage?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people do make that comparison, but...
I would say I would draw an average of 1.5 to 2 times per turn.
And how does it feel? So good? That's how I describe it. It feels so good.
However, this click, I'm going to run server 5. If it's a snare, that's okay.
Crash Project.
Excellent.
And what'd you lose
Lost
to?
the Lucky Find, which is okay as well. Don't really mind. We're going to be getting money at some point.
What do you
anyway.
want to do with this last click?
Contacts again.
Yeah.
We haven't got any programs or hardware yet,
which
is
is
interesting.
problematic, yeah. Well, not problematic.
Not that problematic
ideal.
against PE, yeah.
Another turtlebacks.
Technical Rider and money generally against PE is not a massive deal. I would sort of rather have other stuff probably going on. But
do you know if anyone has asked Wilfie to sign the technical writers yet, seeing as he's featured on the card art?
I don't know. I certainly haven't got him to sign mine, but that's possibly an
Well, you don't want to look like a raging fan or anything like that.
That's true. Yeah. Looking for a film critic really here. Gonna see what I can find.
That's better than nothing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to run that server 7 again, even though our opponent now thinks that we're going to run any new things they put out, and it could be a snare. It could also be double bluff.
Sometimes my opponents have just put like that server 2 could just be like a 5 for 3, and they just leave it there, and then they advance it a couple of times. I think it's Ronan. It was a Jackson.
Yeah, I'm happy to trash Jackson at this point, and then play a self-modifying code, start charging up those technical riders, and use up our discount.
The other contacts?
Yes. Which is largely superfluous unless we see a snatch and grab, which is possible, but...
Some great art on that card too. Snatch and grab.
Okay.
Okay, so hey, that's what I said! That's what I said! Oh, well, it wasn't
Is
a 5 for 3,
Is it what you said?
I said server 2 could be an agenda, and they leave it there and advance it a few times. But,
It could be, yeah.
So how do you feel about House of Knives?
In fact.
Yeah.
House of Knives is a good one. Yeah, don't mind it at all. So this is a bit unfortunate. Maker's Eye and the R&D Pressure in general are sort of the worst cards in our deck in this matchup.
Yeah, because you don't want to be accessing lots of cards.
Early in particular. Late, it's fine because you just want to steal the last few points. But early it's not ideal. So it's annoying also we have them in our hand because it's more likely that we're going to discard them.
One of those,
Yeah, play the other code and then we can use them. I'll use this code first and then we can use both of them.
Do a cloak or the Deus Ex? Because you want to keep that online, right? The Deus Ex out. You don't have any clone chips at the moment.
No. But yeah, I like having Deus Ex because it just means that when you access stuff, you're fine.
Yeah. Film critic would be better. You are playing 2 of them too, so...
2 film critics?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be better. I think I'm going to. I don't really like overdrawing against P because
Because
you're.
it's your life total, right?
Yeah. So maybe I'll just pop a technical rider.
Is that worth it on 3? I mean,
Uh,
because you could surely you'd pop your SMC for something that you know you're going to need anyway, right? Or do you really want
I
to know
only
what that
have one
IS on
credit.
R&D is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
So I can't
You just gain a
really.
credit naturally. You're under no pressure, right? Like,
Mm,
you could do that. I haven't played with the card, but I feel that you'd want to keep your technical
yeah.
riders going for as long as possible.
Yeah. No,
The thing is,
that's
you
true.
haven't drawn your
Yeah.
and Jesse loses next turn because he didn't have that extra 3 credits. It's not my fault.
It'll be solely your fault,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Yeah. The extra credits that you can gain from technical rider is definitely important, but tempo is also important. So playing the short gamble a turn earlier is definitely worth something, whether it's worth enough. I mean, this is just
This is very
a
unfortunate.
very garbage sort of draw we've got going on here.
Yeah.
I'm going to run server 4.
Have you played with House of Knives before?
Played with or against House
With.
of Knives?
Shock.
Shock, okay. We'll leave that there. Don't really want it going into archives. And
I was going to ask you what your strategy is with using the counters. What would it be? What do you think the best way to use House of Knives counters is? Because I see some people just do it whenever people make a run. Sometimes they do it, it's almost like a tell, like when you run somewhere, they say, okay, before access, use this. And I'm like, well, maybe that's a snare or something that can kill me now and you can jack out.
so I think before I get onto that, I
Yeah.
should decide what I want to do
Sure.
with this last click. I think I might modded this Plascrete. It's pretty unlikely we're going to see Scorched Earth coming out here, but
We've only seen one of our opponents influence so far, right?
yeah, and I was going to be pitching a card, so
It could be one of these lists that...
none of the other cards were cards I could actually
Yeah,
play.
it
So
could be one of these lists that plays, what's it like, the side game card that can give you a tag or a brain damage. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cerebral Cast. It could be that, and also sometimes could randomly cop 2 snares on an R&D run on a third click or something like that.
So how do you feel about sorry, let's make this a bit bigger again.
That's okay.
Yeah. How do we feel about this House of Knives situation?
It's pretty fine.
Yeah.
We've got Deus Ex, which means that we can always prevent the last damage. So we're very unlikely to be killed by net damage.
Yeah.
I'm going
It's getting a bit old, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's getting a bit old. These
Drawing the
draws.
same cards?
Yeah, that are
It's
not
a little bit
programs.
annoying.
Yeah.
I obviously should have shuffled my deck at the end of the last turn. What was I
Yeah,
thinking?
he's a silly boy. Yeah.
Run 7-9.
You're just picking at random here.
Yep.
I'm sure we had a die around here we could have rolled for you to figure that out.
So we'll steal the Fetal AI.
And take 1, 2.
So we'll take 3 damage and our opponent didn't ping us.
Yeah, I was going to say. So in that kind of situation, if I were playing House of Knives,
I
that's where
am
would've
going
done it,
to
but
I am going to prevent the 2 damage.
just in case. In case what?
And because I don't want to lose both of the Maker's Eyes.
Oh, okay.
That shouldn't have prevented all of the damage though. So I'll just say so we'll say
Yeah, you should take 1 from the the PE trigger of taking 1.
Yep.
Kind of a 3.
Okay, so we lose a Maker's Eye. So we've lost 2 Maker's Eyes. That's the reason why it's really annoying to draw them early, because you do lose them. But that being said, having none left is not actually a big deal because we've got interfaces anyway. So we're still C4 cards late in the game through Jinteki's reasonably porous ice, which is fine. So draw up again here, because staying high on cards is nice.
You got your dagger there. You're going to be playing that out soon?
Yes, because Jinteki does have a lot of sentries. We also we've drawn 0 cloaks, 0 other breakers, and 0 clone chips, which is getting a little bit tiring.
Yeah.
So I'm actually just going to use this to get a Corroder, I think.
Our opponent's double iced R&D there, and we don't have anything out. So you think they've just put a different ice type out there, seeing as they know you've got the 1 SMC?
Yes, I do. I'm going to get a Corroder and then play out the dagger reasonably soon. So we'll go 1. Losing all our moddeds is also a little bit annoying, but as I said, money is not later on generally such a big deal against PE, so I'm not too worried about losing some of that tempo. It's about spacing yourself out rather than going as fast as possible. Plus, interfaces are not things that you want all in play at once anyway. Go server 10, I think. We'll go the middle one.
Your opponent's going to ping you here.
Which was the right-hand
It was a
one
ping,
earlier.
yeah.
So no action.
Now, if this is a snare, you did... No, you're not.
No, he does use House of Knives to do a
Yeah,
snip. To do
so we
it.
saw
But
that. You
did
got
we
pinged?
take it? Oh, he
did
took the
take it.
dagger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you took
yeah,
the
cool.
dagger.
So we're okay. So if the snare was still alive.
Yeah.
I was like, why did I run with 3 cards?
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
I didn't run with 3 cards. That's
Jackson
okay.
Howard. Okay.
So we'll trash another Jackson. Like, if he's using Jackson to shuffle in 2 Jacksons, that's fine.
Yeah.
With me. And then last action, we'll just draw again because, you know...
Film critic.
Film critic.
Yeah, bit of
About
that,
time. That's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's just really about spacing out what we do, stealing agendas methodically and consistently against PE, which we've sort of managed. And I mean, our opponent hasn't had Mushin, which is probably the best card in PE, which raises the stakes on those bluffs significantly, which has been very good for us because it's enabled us to call all of those bluffs.
Are you going to play out this interface?
I'm not. No, I'm not going to play it out until I really want to run HQ, which I don't want to do yet. Although the way that we've been playing so far has really incentivized our opponent
To keep agendas in HQ?
Yes. Yeah. So,
like if you can do it early in the turn, give yourself the clicks.
Yep. So next turn, probably the turn after,
Yeah.
because we want to start a turn with 5 cards in hand, I think, including those 2. So what did we have there? Some more installs. Okay. Contacts. Not too worried about clone retirements, so
No.
can ignore that clot pretty much. Be nice to draw some other relevant stuff. Right, I'm going to run server 12.
I was going to say 13, but you're a superstitious person. I understand why you chose 12.
You can keep the pad.
You want to play that short gamble, or you?
Yeah,
Then
I think
you got 5 cards in hand for the next turn.
Yeah.
So seeing the pad campaign res.
Yeah, I mean, credit's not a problem really for either of us. It's pretty much a bluffing game. Sorry to our spectators, we've sort of lost our screen. It's fine. Yeah.
That's right.
There we go. The big bad wolf with the technical fix. So we're going to contact first.
Hey, there it is. Cloak.
Yeah, unfortunate that happened. I mean, I probably shouldn't run, realistically. I really need a clone chip before I do anything. So I'm just going to keep...
Hey,
there we go.
level. All right, so you play both of those out?
Yep.
You happy to pay the credit? Yeah,
I'm just thinking about whether I want to do one of them next turn and run another one of these servers for now.
Do you really want to take the
net damage?
Just the opportunity
probably
of losing
not.
one of them?
Yeah.
And you're pumping up those technical riders too, which is cute.
Yeah.
That film critic is seems to be putting in work. I mean, just having it on the table seems good.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we're going very, very wide here. Sorry if this is getting very small.
It's going to start getting very small.
Yeah.
Sorry everyone watching.
We'll be we'll do very good narration so everyone can
all right.
know exactly what you're doing.
So this turn, I think we can go HQ. So we'll contact first, so that we'll be left with 4 cards. Yeah. Then we can run HQ and see 2.
And we've got the clone chip to get the SMC if we need something that's not a dagger. So it's pup.
And we can also get Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Yep, so we'll just pay 2.
Now, because you're seeing 2 cards from HQ, are you wanting to get the Deus Ex before you access? Or are you going to just risk it here? Because you've still got 2 clicks. Or 1 click, rather.
Yeah, I mean, 2 snares could be a bit of a problem. So it's probably worth just getting the Deus Ex. Yeah.
You're a safer player than myself.
I am. Because you just don't want to randomly lose like that, and HQ is the only place where you can really see that sort of thing happen.
Seesaw, so that's some information there.
Yeah.
And a Kumainu.
Okay. Also good to know. And Deus Ex is also a breaker. It's worth remembering. So
a lot of people forget that.
Yeah,
I know I've lost games because I forgot that. Yeah.
Deals with Kumainu, deals with Tsurugi.
Ichi.
Yep.
Do you want to contact last click?
I do. Hopefully we can find another
technical rider.
clone chip or something similar. Yeah.
17 cards left in your deck. You want to close this game out relatively soon, right? Because because you don't have a levy in your deck or anything like that to reset against this matchup.
That's true. But Film Critic means that you're not ever locked out of winning.
I suppose that's true, yeah.
But we do, unfortunately, need to keep drawing
lockpick,
a little bit to find some more breakers because we still don't have our second or third breaker. Let's see here.
In this matchup, do you want to be playing out your Astrolabe? If you'd had it earlier, would you have played it, considering you probably would have drawn an extra, 16 cards at this point?
Possibly. Now, do we want to... I think I'll just host this on the...
Just to be safe?
Film Critic, yeah. I mean, it's
Your
just
opponent could C-source and trash it.
It's an extra damage that you're not... Well, yeah, I mean, if they want to do that, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. No, you've only got one click. You're going to be discarding down too. Do you want to have that cloak out or the lockpick?
No, I don't want to have the second cloak. I would rather
just
have
for the memory? Yeah.
We'll discard Clot. Probably the most useless card in our hand. Technical Ride is reasonably useless with 2 on 10 already in play.
Now, we've seen the Ice and R&D is 3 deep now. So, at which point are you going to go for an R&D dig? You said later in the game you like to. There's still 21 cards in our opponent's R&D.
Yep, I'm going to take this House of Knives first off this server before I go for R&D. I don't know if I'm going to do it right now. Yeah. I don't think I am. Although, our opponent may have done that server 17, assuming that we wouldn't do this for our first 2 clicks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually do this and then run server 17.
Why would our opponent assume we weren't going to do that?
Because they may think that we're greedy and we'd want to do other things first.
Okay, yeah. Thought of entanglement.
Yep.
Very good.
So.
Now, did you want to host that? Or?
No, I'm happy to take one there.
Don't want to admit that was misclick?
Yeah. No, I'm happy to go to 6 points.
Yeah.
And none of those cards in our hand were particularly useful. And last click, we can just contacts.
The Astrolabe, better late than never.
It's
good for the extra memory.
It's a good time to draw it because it means that we can play SMCs without losing any of our programs.
Yeah.
I don't know why our opponent spent 2 clicks gaining credits there. That's
on 42.
Particularly handy.
So what are you going to do this turn? You're only 1 point off winning?
Yep. So our opponent is 6 points off winning, so there's no point killing ourselves doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that they didn't play out an agenda point there. But then, that's exactly the sort of mind game Jinteki likes to play with you, isn't it?
I mean, what could it possibly be? A snare is like the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, so it's always worth it running it.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the Astrolabe first because we don't really want to lose that. Because having memory is very important for getting through those servers later.
Oh, so that's a House of Knives damage?
Yeah.
You're happy to take 1 here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a snare.
Okay,
so you can just prevent that, right?
I will prevent the damage.
Do you want to trash it? No, just leave it there. It's not going to do anything. Just remember it's server 18.
And then we can remove the tag.
Very good.
Wonderful.
13 cards left in the deck. Our Refractor is still in there.
Yeah, as is Corroder.
No, Corroder's in play.
Oh, sorry, yes.
And Dagger's in the bin.
Dagger's in the bin, yep.
Yeah. And you don't want to run anywhere without having both of those?
Not really.
Yeah, no?
There's not a lot of pressure on us to do so.
Yeah.
I sort of don't want to lose this Ghost Runner.
You just play it out, right? What about that other interface too?
I'm going to run...
Just for the negative pressure.
Seeing as our opponent has Seasource, I'd sort of like to have the second Plascrete just to be safe. We don't want to run into snares and go low on cards in hand and then get...
Seesaw
Scorched, yeah.
We've only seen 1 ice in our opponents. So, well, we've seen a Kamainu, I suppose.
So I'm going to play out this interface now.
Yeah.
Because eventually I don't think we're going to run R&D and not win.
Yeah,
so,
no, yeah. Remote server 19. So opponent clicking for credits again there?
I believe so.
Yes.
Installed a card in server 4 today now.
So they installed over something?
Okay, interesting.
That's interesting. That is interesting. Maybe they thought that you wouldn't catch that.
Yeah.
And they trashed whatever was already there. So
All right. So we can contact. Don't need another film critic at this point.
do you want to run that fourth server? I kind of do now. Like,
Yeah,
just
right.
it seems a bit
Okay,
odd.
Brian, we'll do this for
Well,
you.
so well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just really curious as to what our opponent was doing there. Like, oh,
I mean,
shit.
yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, they're doing enough damage to you.
Which of these other servers was not redundant at that point?
It's a Shikyu.
Thanks, Brian.
Opponent has a lot of credits.
No, let's.
So what's the stipulation on Shikyu? Either
so
get
we
minus
get
one
minus one agenda point.
or 4 net damage.
Yeah, so maybe, that sort of just ruins the whole game for us. That's fine.
Does it?
No, that's fine.
What do you want to do here?
To do 4 net damage, that's...
And you've still got 2 clicks left.
we do not want to trash the Shikyu.
I'm tempted to take the damage, and then how many credits do you have? I suppose you can't really fight Seesaw's double scorched.
You will just take the minus 1 point.
Yeah.
It's okay.
They got us with their weird install over server 4 mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, there we go.
That's something. Okay, now you can almost run with all your cards.
Yeah, just need those clone chips. Come on, clone chip.
Yeah, how many's there been? 1?
Yeah.
There's your other flash crate too.
I'm just gonna... Oh, good. That's handy. Get this refractor out now.
Mm-hmm.
And we can start the turn. Hopefully draw a clone chip.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Did they play a new remote last time?
Yep.
Server 20.
Server 20. Yeah, I'm just gonna run server 20 now.
Server 20. That's how many servers there have been.
That's many servers.
Current project. Very good.
Yeah.
You want to host it?
No. And then I think play the interface. Cards in hand are becoming less and less important. We just pot one of those technical writers next turn for some money.
Yeah. Well, they only have a paltry 16 credits. Oh, I've just seen a... Was that a diversified portfolio? And it turns out 71 credits.
That's a lot of money,
Very
Brian.
good, yeah.
What would you do with that sort of money?
I don't know. No, I'm not sure there's much I could do.
No.
I'd pay for the Shikyu and the snares.
Okay, so we got the clone chip, and now I think
Okay,
we
now
should
you
be
can
able
run.
to make his eye.
Now, do you want to...
Hopefully not die.
Do you want to draw before you make his eye, so you're running on 4 cards?
It's a good idea, Brian.
Yeah, well, I mean...
But
but
they
then
don't have the House of Knives.
but that will leave you with no clicks left to clear a tag if you need to.
It's true.
But you also have 2 scorched worth of protection.
And since we've seen 2 Jacksons and a Seesaw, there can't possibly be 3 Scorched Earths in the deck.
Yeah. So you can do whatever you want. You can take the credits first if you want.
Yeah, I think
Because you don't want to get in there.
we can just wait till next time. I mean, there's pretty much no reason we need to do it this time.
You wanted to run R&D or...
We can do R&D
HQ.
or HQ. Either one is fine.
Mm-hmm. I had to get into a situation where you can't pay for a fetal AI or something like that. So server 22, server 23.
Had no cards left in the stack, but I mean that's really very good for us because now we start the turn with 8 cards in our hand, which is kind of sweet. So
So
I
you
think
start off with a run?
before I start the turn, I'm going to get the dagger back, which means that I can get the Deus Ex with the discount.
Oh, very good, yeah.
Oh no, I can't. I have to play with clone chip with discount, but either way, it gets us an extra credit, and it's not a big deal. But it's good to play optimally, I guess.
Yeah,
Instead of running, we'll just make his eye. Hopefully, we'll win
If you'll get in
and
there.
not die. That'd be sweet.
So we've only seen a pup and a Kamainu. So playing...
Also, you've avoided almost all of my traps, I assume.
Oh,
okay.
yes.
Oh,
Oh, hold on, what's our opponent said something else to us earlier. Well, I think your deck is pretty well set up against mine. Yeah.
okay.
Well, this probably speaks to the versatility of the list you put together here, Jesse. I mean, you like the toolbox sort of Kate thing. I mean, you were talking about the hate cards in the deck tech earlier.
Yeah.
There's been quite a lot of cards that you put in here to deal with a number of situations. Is that usually how you like to play, or is that how you like to play Kate?
It's usually how I like to play Kate. Yes. So I
So it's
think
in
we'll
Kamainu,
use the.
Well, you don't have the stealth credits to power dagger and refractor, right?
Oh yeah, we do. We've got a lockpick and we've got 2 ghost.
Oh, you got the
runners.
ghost runners, yeah.
But I'm actually just going to use the
The dagger, yeah.
Dagger here. So it's 6 subroutines.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And we know it's a Sarugi next, apparently.
6. Yeah. That's a Yagura, I think.
Is it Yugura? It's a...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Yagura.
Which you can break without having to pump, yeah?
2 subroutines.
And we're getting in for what, 5 cards? 6 cards.
5 cards.
Hedge fund. How's the nose? 7? Is that 7?
Yep.
Yep. GG. Do you want to keep going?
No.
You'll die, yeah. Alright, so I think that served as actually quite a good spectacle of how to play against the PE list, as we talked about in the start. How did you feel that game went? I mean, apart from the slow start we had with trying to find actual non-events. Yeah.
Yeah. The start was not ideal, and as our opponent's pointing out there, the tech of Sea Sauce and 2 Scorch doesn't match up well against Piescrete. That's the value of playing those hate cards. I mean, not all of them are going to be relevant in all matchups. The Clot is a useless card in this matchup, for example, but the Plascretes and the Film Critic allow you to be a lot more aggressive,
yeah,
and not just randomly lose the game, which against
which is
PE
true, which is what happens most of the time.
is the biggest way to lose. Yeah, so 2 Psychic Fields and 2 Snares that we avoided. That's handy. Yeah, not. Yeah, our opponent.
So not sure if it
Asking
was
some
bad
questions
luck,
about
or
whether it was luck or being
too
predictable. I mean, there was a point there in the game where we were pretty much running all the remotes, but that was because I figured that our opponent was thinking that we would think that they would put a trap down on a lot of those turns when, for instance, when they played out that Philotic Entanglement, when we had the agenda on the Film Critic, and we picked that correctly. That was the big turn. Stealing that Philotic was really important because that does a lot of net damage aggressively, and it's a 2-pointer. Yeah, so overall good game. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again soon.
Yep, sounds good, guys.